What's good, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine for those of you that are new here, and today we are continuing the series of my makeup collection, and today we're gonna dive deep. I don't know why I said today we're gonna dive deep as if I have a lot of freaking bronzers. We're going to go ahead and go over my bronzer collection, and like I said, I don't know why I said dive deep because I was actually pretty shocked when I was looking at when I was collecting all my bronzers. I was going through them and I was like, damn, I really don't have that many bronzers compared to the other items in my collection that I feel like I have more of. But let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna show you guys my bronzer collection and I am going to give you guys my thoughts on them. And then at the end, we are going to rank them based off of which ones I think are my favorite and which ones are not so much my favorite. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I am going to separate them like I did last time between the powder bronzers and then the cream bronzers, just so it's a little bit more of I guess a fair way to talk about them. Okay. First ones first is we have an e.l.f. Putty Bronzer, and this is in the shade Honey Drip. And as y'all can probably tell from my eyes going downward, I got my monitor back. This is what it looks on the inside. Quick little random chat about my monitor. So the cord had broken on what I used to connect my camera. It had broken and it was really messed up. It caused my camera to overheat and do some crazy stuff. So luckily I got that fixed. So anyways, as you guys can see, this is a cream bronzer. I do like the fact that this is from e.l.f. and it's very affordable. I love affordable things. I am not going to be swatching it for you guys because I already have some product on my hand right here and it's just going to make a mess. This is probably one of I want to say this is probably one of the first cream bronzers I had ever tried because I was really scared to use cream products. If you guys have watched some of my other videos, y'all know that I was really scared to get into cream products. It was just one of the things, just because I'm not an expert at makeup and cream products just really intimidated me, especially the bronzers. I will say this, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Originally when I got it, I actually really liked it, but it was because it was the only cream bronzer I had tried. But now that I've tried a lot more cream bronzers, I'm this ain't really that much of a vibe. So one of the things I don't like, it kind of dries out. I feel how do I explain it? It's a little too sheer for my liking. When I like a contour, I like something, let me close this up so it doesn't dry up. I like something that's a little bit more pigmented and it is pretty creamy. I will say though that usually when I have applied this, similar with how I would apply the putty brushes, I dip my brush into it and then I apply it. I've never tried to actually take this a little bit out of the pan and do it that way. I'm gonna actually try it that way and see if I like it a little bit better. Maybe I'll get a little bit more pigment of it because right now this is really just a little too light. The pigmentation isn't all there. So it's honestly not my fave. However, it is pretty, it's just honestly not my fave. I feel like I have some other favorites. So it's not anything special. Honestly, I would say if you're looking for a cream product, this would not really be my go-to to recommend you because there's a lot of other cream products from the drugstore that are a little bit better. Then this is technically not a bronzer, a cream bronzer. However, I would tell you guys, you could use a lot of products, a lot of concealers to really do your contour. It doesn't really have to be a product that's specifically for cream contouring. If you get a darker shade of a concealer, you can use it for contour. I would say just make sure that it's obviously a shade that works for you, and then also make sure it's something that's easy to blend because there's some concealers that dry a little too fast and I wouldn't necessarily recommend those for cream contouring just because you're gonna have to work with them really quickly. But I would say most of the time you could use any concealer for cream contour and contouring your face and stuff. So this is actually the Beauty Creations Flawless Stay Concealer Full Coverage, and this is in the shade C21. And like I was telling you guys, this is originally a concealer. However, I use it to contour, and as you guys can see, so I would say to contour, this works really good to contour. It's a nice creamy product and it's easy to blend. It has really good pigmentation. The only downfall I will say about this is, for me specifically, this shade I don't think was a good match. I don't know if you guys can tell compared to my skin, but this shade is a little too, it's has an orange undertone, if that makes sense. So it's a bronze, but it's orangey. So it makes me end up looking a little bit like the annoying orange vibes, and we're not trying to go for that vibe. So I need to get something a little bit more cool tone for a bronzer so it can, you know, more of like a nice defined like contour. But this is really good. Like I said, if you find a good, cool like contour shade, you can really use any concealer to contour as long as it's blendable. And this is very, very easy to blend out. So definitely would recommend if you're like newer to contouring, I feel like this is pretty friendly because it's just so easy and it looks seamless when you blend it. Then the next product is the e.l.f. Halo Beauty Wand Contour, and this is in the shade Medium Tan. Okay, so this is actually, I believe this, people say this is these are kind of like dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury. This is extremely, extremely pigmented. One thing I don't like though, I don't like these little powder or these little like cotton ball applicators. I don't know what they're called, but they're like little puffs. I don't like those just because I feel like it's a breeding ground for bacteria. I will say though, oh, I got some on my hand. This is extremely, extremely pigmented. If you are going to use this, use like one dab, but I will say I feel like I need to try a different shade because this is just super, super pigmented. So I'm curious to know like if I try some of the other shades, how they would look on me, because this is hella pigmented. So honestly, a little goes a long way. It's super affordable. I did feel like this was easy to blend, so I did like this. I don't know if I would necessarily repurchase this. I feel like I want to try some more cream products just so I can get like my hands on trying a lot more, like getting a lot more comfortable with using cream contour products and just trying different ones and seeing really what I love and what I don't. But this is actually really good for something from the drugstore. And last but not least, okay, so this is like a powder and a cream, so I'm going to include it in both sections, but we're going to talk about the cream product right now. This is a Patrick Ta She's Sculpt, and this is the Cream Contour and Bronzer Duo. Looks like this. So specifically, we are going to talk about the cream product right here. Okay, this is my first high-end like cream contour product, and I absolutely love this. Worth every single penny, blends like a dream, doesn't overwhelm like the face, but still creates like a nice chiseled like look. This is actually the cream. I'm actually using the cream product today, and I've been wearing it for a long time. I just feel like it's just so easy. And pro tip, I would definitely recommend for you to buy the brush that doesn't come with it, but it's like paired to it. It's like the double-sided one. Honestly, ever since I got that brush, I'm like, honestly, it's been the best thing ever. Or you can also get the e.l.f. Putty brush. It also helps blend cream products like a dream. So definitely super pigmented, gives you a nice chiseled look. Love this. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and get into the powder products. So again, the Patrick Ta, it does have a powder product. It does have a powder bronzer. I will be honest, I love the fact that this is a duo. So I love that it comes with two, especially when you're traveling. You can just put this in your bag and you have both. However, I love the cream contour more than I love the powder. The powder isn't bad, but it's just the pigment isn't anything crazy. I don't know if you guys can see it on my hand right there. It's not anything crazy. It's not bad. It's just not anything like, wow, like really like different from other bronzers. I feel like there are other bronzers that I can use that like, you know, a lot of other like bronzers that I can use that probably have better pigment, but I will say like, it's not bad. Like I said, just not the most amazing bronzer, I would say. But the cream one, like I said, cream is bomb.com. Sorry, my makeup's really dirty, guys. I have not cleaned this, but this is the e.l.f. Primer-Infused Blush in the shade Forever Sunkissed. Looks like that. Then on the inside, that is what it looks like. So first of all, this is super soft. However, this shade is just really light. Y'all, it's not this one. It's like, it's all the way over here. I don't think you can, or no, it's over here. You probably can't even pick it up on the camera. That's how light it is. So I just don't know if I would necessarily love this, maybe in another shade. In this shade, it's basically non-existent on my face. You can't really pick it up. So for that reason, I don't really love this. I will say it feels soft on the pan, but when you swatch it, it kind of looks a little like cakey, and I don't really like that compared to like some of the other, like for example, my Patrick Ta one, it looks a lot more buttery on the skin. This one looks a lot more cakey. So for that reason, I don't really like this one as much. Then another high-end, actually I lied, that was not my first high-end bronzer. I actually realized that I have another one. However, that's the first one I ever bought like high-end from like Sephora, because this one I bought at TJ Maxx. So technically I feel like it doesn't count. But this is the NARS Laguna bronzer. It's like this, and then this is the shade. Okay, if any of you guys remember, this is like an OG favorite from like all of the YouTubers back in the day. They would rave about this. So I honestly was one of those products where I was like, I can't wait to get my hands off of this. I will say, as you can see, I haven't used it too much because I feel like I have some other favorites that I gravitate towards more. But when I tried this out, I was a little underwhelmed. I didn't really think it was anything spectacular. I felt like the pigment wasn't anything crazy. And I honestly feel like I get more pigment from some of my drugstore bronzers. So I just didn't really think this was all that great. I'm trying to see if I could swatch it for you guys and the camera will pick it up. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me swatch it okay, this is after 3 swatches. So you could barely see it on my skin right there. So it's not anything crazy, you know, it's not bad. And when it goes onto the skin, it actually goes onto the skin really nicely. I feel like I have to use a lot of product and really build it up to be able to see it on my skin. And to be honest, I don't really like products like that. Like, if I have to build the product up a lot for me to be able to see the pigment, I would rather just choose something else that's already going to have a lot of pigment from like the very first probably swatch or two, you know. So for that reason, I didn't really understand the hype about this. Then we have the Wet n Wild Megaglo contouring palette, and this is in the color Caramel Toffee. And we're specifically going to talk about the bronzer shade here. So honestly, I love this bronzer. I feel you get a lot of product. So this is huge. I don't know if you guys can see how big this is compared to my hand, but this is a huge contour kit. And the bronzer is actually very good. It is super pigmented. Let me just show you guys compared to like literally what is it called? The NARS one, Laguna, how much more pigmented this is. So can you guys see this over here? Like, this is hella pigmented, and this is like, yeah, it's just super pigmented. It goes on the skin nicely. I really do like how it goes on. Even though it's a drugstore one, I do like it. I think you get a lot of product for the price. I will say it's not as nice as my higher end bronzer. However, for the price, if you're looking for something on a budget, I still think this is a really good one. It's just not as great as my high-end one, like my Patrick Ta. I feel like once you find a product that you really like, it's kind of hard to compare it to, because then it's kind of hard to find another product to top it. But I will say, for the price and for it to be drugstore, it is a pretty good bronzer. And on the topic, you know how I was telling you guys can basically use any concealer to contour as long as it's like a correct shade and stuff like that. Same goes for contour, like for bronzer and stuff like that. There's a lot of like companies that have like powder foundations. You honestly could use like those like pressed powder foundations for contour as well, as long as you pick the correct shade. So that's honestly what I do sometimes when I really like maybe the formulation of something or the pigment. I just end up getting like a way darker shade for me so that I can use it as contour. But this is the Beauty Creations, and this is actually a powder foundation, like I was letting you guys know, but I use it to bronze, and this is in the shade FSP 15. And that's what it looks like. And this is really pigmented. I actually really like this to contour. The only thing I will say, this color is a little off for me. I need to look for a different color. This is a little bit more of like a terracotta bronze, so it gives me a little bit more of an orangey look, which I'm not a fan of. However, I think it's, like I told you guys, I honestly think it's just I chose the wrong shade, so I need to look for a different shade. But the formulation and literally the pigment in this is really good. So I would definitely recommend this. Okay, so let me go ahead and rate the Creme contour products. So for the Creme products, we have 4 products total, and I'm going to go ahead and rate those. In the 4th spot, I am going to be putting the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is going to be 4th because the pigment is just not there. In 3rd spot, I am going to be putting the Beauty Creations Flawless Stay Concealer Full Coverage, because the shade is too orange for me. In the 2nd spot, we are going to be putting the e.l.f. Halo Glow Contour in the shade Medium Tan, and this will be 2nd. I absolutely love this, and I think this is a great drugstore contour, especially if you're a beginner. I'm going to be putting this in the 2nd spot because it has great pigment and it's easy to blend. And in the 1st spot, it's going to be the Patrick Ta for the face in She Sculpt, because this is super easy to blend. And not only do you get a cream product, but you also get a powder. Okay, now I am going to go ahead and rate the powder products. And I have 5 total, so I will be letting you know. In the 5th spot, I'm going to be putting the e.l.f. Primer-Infused. Oh, I just noticed this said blush. Oh my god, it literally took me this long. So apparently this isn't a contour, this is a blush in Forever Sunkissed. Okay, this is so weird because this literally looks like a bronzer shade, so I don't really know why this is a blush, but this is going in the 5th spot just because the pigment is honestly not there. In the 4th spot, I'm going to be putting the NARS Laguna bronzer because, like I said, the pigment is just nothing extraordinary and I can't really justify the pigment for the price. I feel like this is kind of overpriced. In the 3rd spot, I'm going to be putting the Beauty Creations Powder Foundation just because this shade is a little too off for me and it makes me look a little too orange. In 2nd spot, I'm going to be putting the Wet n Wild Contouring Palette Kit in the shade Caramel Toffee because this is a great drugstore bronzer and you get a lot of product for your buck. And in the 1st spot, to no surprise, I'm going to be putting the Patrick Ta Sculpt because I think this is a great product. You get 2-in-1 and both the cream and the powder just go together really seamlessly and give you a really nice chiseled look. Alrighty guys, so those are all the products that I have for my bronzer collection. Go ahead and comment below any bronzers that you love, whether they're drugstore or they're high-end. I would love to try some. Specifically, I would love to try some more cream and honestly, I would love to try some more cream and bronzer products. I'm always looking to try new products and you guys noticed, I don't have a lot of bronzers, so might as well try some more like cream and powder bronzers to showcase in my upcoming videos. And thank you guys so much for those that have been showing your love and support by watching these videos as well as subscribing. I really appreciate it, and it doesn't go unnoticed because believe it or not, I notice every little subscriber that subscribes to me, so I appreciate you guys so much. If you could just help your girl out and share this video maybe with your mom, your sister, your friend, and then go ahead and hit that red subscribe button if you're not already subscribed so you can help your girl get to 300 subscribers. I would really appreciate that. And thank you guys once again for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next week with another video. Bye guys.